Alright guys and girls, so we're going to go through this latest task for Year 8 IT. And I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint presentation that we've got here. So what does our future hold is the topic, and our task is we need to look at designing a logo in Google SketchUp which will be 3D printed out. And there's a few prerequisites that we need to keep in mind. The first thing is we're going to start off our design that you've already drawn up, and hopefully you've centered around a square, a circle, or a hexagon. And we're going to be making sort of a 2D dimensional image to begin with, and then we're going to make it 3-dimensional in SketchUp. Now, a few things we need to keep in mind is our maximum dimensions are a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter width and height, and we want a depth of 1 centimeter maximum. Okay, so when we're doing our Google SketchUp here, we want to make sure that we've got the template that allows us to work in centimeters or millimeters. So what we need to do is click Choose Template when we first open up the program, and yours will be default sort of at the top. You need to scroll all the way down and find the 3D printing millimeters template. So all our measurements will be in millimeters, which makes it nice and easy for us to sort of sketch up. So I'm going to click the Start Using SketchUp here, and we've got our 3D template, as you were. So to move around and to sort of get our camera moving and shaking, I prefer using a mouse, and you can use the middle mouse click button to rotate around your scene. Or alternatively, you can see up the top here, you can use this orbit tool. You just select that, and you can click and drag to rotate around. We've also got this hand tool here, which allows us to pan, which means go left and right. And the zoom tool, pretty self-explanatory. You hold and drag down to zoom out, and push in to zoom in. So that's how we can navigate. That's how we can navigate around our space. Now, going back to that PowerPoint, I would recommend creating a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter sort of base. Okay, be that a square or a circle, whatever it is that we're creating. So I'm going to do that now. In SketchUp, and I've got two open, so I'm just going to close one here. I'm going to position the camera by, again, middle mouse clicking or pressing the orbit tool up the top here to make my template on a bird's eye view. So I'm looking directly down. I'm on top of the template now. We've got our basic shapes here. Here's our polygon, circle, or rectangle. You make your selection there. And I'm going to do a rectangle to begin with, make it nice and easy. So I could just click and drag and hopefully try and get, and I'm pretty actually close to 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So again, it's in millimeters, so you'd want 100 millimeters to make a centimeter, but this is pretty tricky doing it by hand. It's not the easiest thing to do. We can see our measurements down the bottom right here. They are a bit cut off by the camera, but you can see that they're there. Now that's nowhere near 10 by 10 centimeters, so I'm going to Control Z that to undo. And instead, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click once, and I can just start typing. So I've clicked once, I've got my starting position, and I'm going to type 100, comma, 100, press enter, and there is my 100 by 100 millimeter or 10 by 10 centimeter square. That's my base. That's ready to go. Let's try the same thing with a circle, and we'll see what happens. So here's a circle, and if I click and start dragging out, it's doing the radius. All right. So to get a 10 centimeter diameter, we'd want to put a radius of 200? No. What do we need the radius of? Well, let's click and check. 100. No, it's still looking too big. So what's the difference here? Why isn't this working? A radius. Of course, we need to halve it. So that would be a 50 centimeter radius. Is going to make a 100 centimeter diameter circle. All right, pretty easy. Now we can see that this is chopping and changing. Sorry, it's intersecting here, which is bad. We don't want that, so I'm going to undo because I'm going to stick with the square. And lastly, if anyone wants a polygon, well, we can do the same thing. It does the radius again. So a 50 radius will produce what we're after, which is a 100 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 100 millimeter diameter. All right, so that's our base. And again, I'm going to go with square. What I'm going to do next is get this select tool here, and I can select.